Hosted by you/Tista Targaryen. What are some horrifying things to consider when thinking about aliens? One theory, from Stephen Hawking, is that if they are sufficiently advanced that aliens may treat us like ants. When we build dams, we don't worry about whether or not a dam will cause an anthill to be flooded out. Similarly, a species that is advanced as far beyond us as we are beyond ants might seek to alter our planet or even our solar system to their advantage without giving consideration to what may happen to us. Our human concepts of morality and empathy are heavily influenced by our mammalian biology. Imagine that aliens land, and instead of having nice little family units, their species lays clutches of thousands of eggs at a time. They don't form strong bonds. Life is essentially expendable for them. They see a sweeping over a dead child and they have literally no frame of reference for understanding why this would be upsetting. I'm not saying all aliens will be like this, but some definitely could be. The assumption that they come in groups in some flying saucer. For all we know, they might just appear in hordes of thousands if not millions all across the planet. Also, we like to think that aliens will share the same way of thinking as humans, i.e. reasoning, emotions, etc. But the only reason we think that is because that's the only thing we are familiar with. Aliens might have completely different emotions or thought processes than us, but we won't know because we never encountered them before. It's like the fourth dimension. At this point it's pretty well established what it is, but most of us, if not all, have no clue how to visualize or properly explain it. The scariest thing to me is thinking that aliens want nothing to do with us. I don't get why everyone thinks that aliens would attack us immediately. It's one thing if we come into their territory, but if they stumble upon us, we're most likely safe. Them finding us would mean they are incredibly advanced. Anything they could get by attacking Earth they could get far easier by harvesting it from a different planet in our solar system. Unless they feed specifically on brainwaves, it isn't worth the hassle to attack a planet teeming with life. They may have some weapons, however primitive, that might be used against you. It's far more frightening to believe that aliens will one day discover us and won't be interested. They won't want us on their intergalactic councils, they won't want to give us medicine, they won't want to form any bond. If they decide to just leave humanity alone, that means either they have decided we are not worth saving, or that we are too close to destruction to be worth the resources. Number 1. There is absolutely nothing on planet Earth that the aliens can't find in more abundance elsewhere. Precious metals, gases for fuel, assuming they don't have zero-point energy or some shit that lets them get power from vacuum, and even water are all available in space, and you can get these resources with zero resistance. So I don't think they would come here for any resources, unless they want our biosphere, which, for all we know, could be abundant in the galaxy. Number 2, if aliens do show up one day but turn out to be hostile, there is absolutely nothing we can do to stop them. If they have been coming here, if you believe in that sort of thing, they have been doing so for a very long time. They know everything about us, including our weaknesses and how to exploit them. Meanwhile, they are a species capable of FTL travel. Wiping us out would be as simple for them as flipping on a light switch. No jet-to-ship dogfights, no magical weak point to hit, no third-act secret weapon to save us. Just one press of that button and everything turns white and then black. So if they do come to Earth, they would need a damn good reason to. If our luck is truly awful and they actually want something from us, we'd better pray that it's something that we don't have to fight over, because we wouldn't stand a chance. We are only an intelligent species because we defined ourselves that way. Think of it, there is only a 1% difference in DNA between chimps and us, meanwhile the difference in intelligence is huge. We are exploring the cosmos with our advanced telescopes, meanwhile the smartest chimp is stacking up rocks. Now think of an alien species that has a 1% DNA difference with us lining the other way. Their simplest thoughts would be too complicated for us. The smartest person on Earth would be like a chimp stacking up rocks for them. Now think of a species with another 1% difference. We wouldn't even be like ants walking on the floor to them, we would be less than that. And you could go on like that, 10%, 20%, 30%, etc. What would we be? So insignificant that no one in the cosmos would consider making contact with us? Is the truth of the cosmos and reality actually really simple, but we are just too stupid? Like expecting ants walking on a football field to understand what's going on the field? Do we not know what we don't know? They might not have orifices for eating or pooping. Hear me out. Almost all life on Earth is topologically equivalent to a donut. Meaning we have an outside wall and an inside wall, digestive and respiratory tract, that runs like a hole through us, and our important bits are sandwiched between these walls. One of the only examples of life that isn't like that would be, for example, single-celled organisms, amoebas and such, which just kind of ooze over whatever they acquire sustenance from and osmose it into themselves. Currently on Earth only microorganisms are like that, also some weird ocean creatures. But there are fossils dating from before the Cambrian explosion from millions of years ago which hint that a completely different type of large and complex organisms might have evolved to walk the Earth before that evolutionary lineage was wiped out by an asteroid or the like. One of the oldest of these rare fossils is of a zero-orificed creature that was about a meter long. We don't have a lot of info from life during that age, but it indicates there may have been an entire evolutionary track of complex life forms favoring life that is topologically equivalent to ball instead of donut. And that's on Earth. So, yeah. We could very well find an entire planet of giant, oozy amoebas of assorted species and intelligence, who neither eat, speak, or shit like we do. Just try figuring out how to breach that cultural and language barrier. The dark forest theory kind of freaks me out. The universe is a dark forest. Every civilization is an armed hunter stalking through the trees like a ghost, gently pushing aside branches that block the path and trying to tread without sound. Even breathing is done with care. The hunter has to be careful, because everywhere in the forest are stealthy hunters like him. If he finds another life, another hunter, angel, or a demon, a delicate infant to tottering old man, a fairy or demigod, there's only one thing he can do: open fire and eliminate them. The fact that any life form that advanced that showed up to Earth without wanting a peaceful contact would likely just show up, vacuum up all the resources and leave us to die without any communication or anything. Think about it, when humans go into nature to get resources, they don't kill all the animals. They just take what they want and leave. For some reason that is more chilling to me than aliens just blasting the planet with lasers. I don't think a peaceful alien would contact us. We are violent and very territorial, things that would be in opposition to any kind of peaceful alien or interplanetary federation. That they might not exist. If there are aliens, they could undoubtedly pose a threat to humanity, but I think most people want alien life to exist elsewhere. That way we aren't alone in the universe. I think that the most horrifying thing to think about is that despite how incredibly huge the universe is, we might be the only ones in it. Reread my comment. Alien life wouldn't undoubtedly pose a threat to humanity, it may pose a threat. And that's assuming that it's intelligent life. We don't know what life looks like. Our theory of life strictly applies to Earth-based organisms, and the moment we actually discover any form of extraterrestrial life, that theory is going to fly out the window. For all we know, we could be surrounded by alien life and not even know it. Maybe the stars are actually a plasma-based species that conquered the universe long ago, or there are sentient rocks that colonized all of the terrestrial planets. Maybe every hydrogen atom is actually capable of advanced communication, art, and curiosity, but we can't recognize it because we don't know what to look for. I'm not saying any of those are true or that you should believe them, you shouldn't, but it just barely opens up the idea of how ignorant our thought process is. For us, if it doesn't walk and talk or send radio signals, then it isn't an alien. Maybe finding extraterrestrial life is easy and we've already come across it a million times over just in this century, but we wouldn't know because we aren't looking for life, we're looking for humans from space. I invite you to contemplate how insignificant you are to me. Seriously, what exactly does Earth have that any alien might want? Water? There are trillions upon trillions of cubic miles of it floating around in space. You're likely to find water around nearly every star in the galaxy. It would be far easier to get it elsewhere than it is to haul ours out of the gravity well. Minerals? Elements? Chemical compounds? Again, trillions of tons of much more easily accessed elsewhere, or easily mass-produced using the near-infinite raw materials and energy found all around the galaxy. How about human labor? Delicate, easily killed, has to be fed, watered, needs to rest at least a third of its life. Intractable, stupid, devious, rebellious. Long, slow process to cultivate and educate. Certainly any race that can span the distance between stars can find better alternatives. Our technology? Don't make me laugh. The only thing this planet has that is unique to it, is the fauna and flora itself. Our only value is as a nature preserve. Which means we are wrecking the only value our planet has to the universe. If anything at all, the only reason why aliens would come here would be to stop the destruction, probably by wiping out 99% of the species doing the most damage. The dark forest theory. It is one of the possible answers to the Fermi paradox. It states that the reason the universe isn't filled out extraterrestrial signals like we would expect is that the universe is like a dark forest. You are not supposed to make noise lest you catch the attention of a nocturnal predator. Other alien civilizations know this and do not allow communications signals to escape their planet, but Earth was not fortunate enough to learn this before gaining sufficient technology to create high-powered radio transmissions. The first high-powered radio transmissions were made in the 20th century, which means they still have yet to travel much significant distance from Earth, but when someone hears them we may discover precisely why the universe isn't filled with noise. We struggle enough with terrestrial diseases and infections. If extraterrestrial beings came to this daft little planet we live on without ill will, the diseases they would bring. Similar to what could happen with non-contact tribes like the Sentinelese. They've had no exposure to some of the modern-day diseases and just one person could kill them all without meaning to or knowing, simply because they carry an infection, virus or disease. Our immunity has evolved and adapted to common diseases and, as the human race, we've worked to help people become immune to not-so-common diseases. As proven by SARS-CoV-2, all it takes is something novel, aka new, previously unknown, to wreak havoc on the human race. We may not be able to mobilize our collective medical knowledge with speed, if we can even identify and work towards a cure with current terrestrial technology, before it infects and possibly kills the human race. All just because some crazy little, or large, ET just wanted to say hi.